God damn, that shit was loud. Hold on, I gotta switch my screen. Why is that moved? Guys wanna do some reacts? We can do some reacts. No there. Beast games, guys. Beast games.
A knock on the door this time of day? Who could it be?
Space conspiracy. 5 weird theories about space. Let's do this, boys.
What if I told you this was the last ad you would ever see?
So, today's video is probably going to make your brain hum and hurt in equal measure. As much as humans like to think we're advanced and knowledgeable when it comes to scientific fields and cosmological understanding, we're actually not.
Alright guys, let's listen to this shit.
And even the great Albert Einstein's ideas are starting to look a bit outdated thanks to the bewildering world of quantum mechanics, but state something can exist here, can't explain how. Today, we've got 5 of the weirdest cosmological theories to tell you about. They're guaranteed to leave you scratching your head, so let's get into it.
Let's do this shit.
One of the most intriguing controversial and plain mind-bending cosmological theories is the multiverse hypothesis, which
Let's do
suggests
this
the
shit.
existence of multiple universes beyond our own. Now, bearing in mind that our own cosmos includes around 350 billion galaxies, and the observable known universe spans somewhere in the region of 94 billion light years, the notion
if we
that
talk
this
now?
might be just a single speck in the
Like,
much
while
larger
talking right
multiverse
now,
is
while doing
enough
this.
to make your head spin. You might think this is a pretty new, radical idea, but it actually originated from a few ancient Greek philosophers, namely Leucippus and Democritus in the 5th.
I just want to know if my voice is good over this shit, because if I'm talking like this over this video right now, it's fine.
Multiverse
I just want to know if my voice is good over this shit, because if I'm talking like this over this video right now, it's fine.
was first actually used by American philosopher and psychologist William James in 1895, and the idea gradually inched its way into the collective cosmological consciousness. However, it remains a deeply polarizing idea. It's difficult even to start to get your head around the multiverse hypothesis. How can we even picture multiple gargantuan universes? One of the most common and probably easiest visual images to process is like a children's ball pit, where each ball in the pit is a different universe, or perhaps billions of individual bubbles floating through a giant room is a better way to think about it, because children's ball pits, even if they're big, are not big. Like everything else we will discuss today, there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that the multiverse theory is correct. Still, there are certain problems with current and established cosmological theories.
Dude, this video
that might give it some weight.
sucks.
Let's start.
I just want to know about space. Space facts that will blow your mind. That sounds like a dub. There we go. 15 minutes of actually unbelievable space facts. Let's get this shit.
결과가 좋아 보이네요. 감사합니다.
Picture this. You walk outside and watch as the moon gets bigger and bigger, tumbling towards the Earth at an astonishing speed. Here's what would really happen if the moon hit the Earth. As the moon gets closer, the first thing we will notice is a dramatic shift in the tides. Coastal cities will be consumed by the oceans. Its gravity will cause our satellites to be thrown out of their orbits, rendering them completely useless. There will be earthquakes and volcanic eruptions every single day. And when the moon is just 11,000 miles away from the Earth's surface, it will be completely torn apart by Earth's gravity, creating a beautiful ring system similar to Saturn's. And
That'd be sick
survivors
as
will be
fuck.
treated to a breathtaking view of these gorgeous rings shimmering in the sunlight. Every night will feature a bright meteor shower made of
That'd be
moon
so
dust.
cool.
Now, I know this sounds bad because obviously this would cause so much destruction, but I kind of wish it would happen just so we could see the ring in the sky. Now, on to the next fact. Back in the year 1977, NASA launched the twin Voyager space probes, Voyager 1 and 2, into space. They were originally launched to take advantage of a rare alignment of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune that wouldn't happen again for another 175 years. Now, on their way out of our solar system, they visited all of the outer planets, taking all of these jaw-dropping images of them and investigating their moons for the first time ever. But you see, these are
That's
actually
actually cool.
special spacecraft. They are further away from us than anything ever produced by a human. And NASA thought about what would happen if an alien civilization found one of these spacecraft one day. And so they included a very special message on board, the Golden Record, or as I like to think of it, Earth's time capsule. One day when humanity has been extinguished like the flame of a candle, this record might be the last evidence of our existence anywhere in the universe. It tells the story of our world through sound, images, and science. Earth's greatest music through time. The sounds of nature.
Dang, is that actually on there?
spoken greetings in dozens of languages.
تحياتنا للأصدقاء في النجوم يا ليت يجمعنا الزمان
Shalom.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम हम ज़मीन के रहने वालों की तरफ से आपको खुश आमदीद कहते हैं Hello from the children of planet Earth.
And more than
Dude, that's
100
low-key
images
creepy.
expertly chosen by Carl Sagan and his team to tell our story, the human story, Earth story. Okay, now before I show you this picture, I want you to take a deep breath because it's honestly pretty terrifying. This is a real photo of the astronaut Bruce McCandless floating 100 meters away from the space shuttle with no rope connecting him back to the ship. In 1984, he was on a mission to test this space jetpack system, so he left the ship and simply flew away into the abyss of space. Now, when he was asked about this mission, he said
Aura.
the only thing that really terrified him was how cold he got as soon as he was away from the shuttle. I mean, imagine the silence. Just you, alone, in space. And what if he just drifted away? Freaky stuff. When
Black
black
holes?
holes
Whoa,
collide with
that
one
was a
another, they
bad voice crack. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh. Let's go.
send literal ripples throughout the fabric of space-time at the speed of light. These ripples squeeze and stretch everything in their path, similar to the ripples on a lake. Now, Einstein predicted that these ripples must exist if his theory of general relativity were to be correct, but it wasn't actually until 2015 that we finally detected one for the first time.
Really?
Scientists use an instrument called the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO. A
What the
laser beam
fuck is that?
split down two 4-kilometer-long arms with mirrors at the end that reflect the lasers back and forth. Now, as the gravitational wave passes through the Earth, the length of each arm is changed ever so slightly, which they were able to detect using this method. NASA's Mars rover Opportunity was one of the most successful rovers we have ever launched.
Didn't
into
that, like,
space, and
stop
the last
working?
words are some of the saddest
Yeah.
you will ever hear. You see, Opportunity was initially only supposed to survive on the red planet for 90 days, but she was resilient. Using her solar panels, she was able to travel over 28 miles across the Martian surface over 14 years. Then one fateful day, as a Martian storm descended on the rover and the skies were choked of all sunlight, the solar-powered Opportunity messaged home saying, "My battery is low and it's getting dark."
That's fucking sad. But that, if you could have that view every night, that view every night would be the best view I would think you could get. Like, I would want that every night, bro.
Truly unbelievable. Something I find unbelievable is the shaving industry here on Earth. I mean, think about it. If you have sensitive skin, your options are to either use an electric razor or simply stop shaving. And if
Is this
you
an
can't
ad?
use traditional razors, you
Yeah.
are
Sorry.
Now, of course, we all know that sunsets here on Earth have that beautiful red or pink hue. But what about on other planets? Like Mars, for example. Well, luckily, we have rovers there that can take some pictures and send them home. And this is what we see. You see, sunsets on Mars have this beautiful blue tinge to them. This happens because the fine dust on Mars's surface allows the blue light to penetrate the atmosphere slightly more efficiently than the other colors. Oh, also, you might notice that the sun looks quite small in these pictures, and that's of course because Mars is just further away from the sun when compared to the Earth. One day, potentially sometime soon, one of the brightest stars
Dude,
out
I always thought Mars was in front of the Earth, but that's just me with no brain cells, to be honest.
your night sky will explode, and when it does, your night sky will look like this. I am of course talking about the red giant star Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is just a silly little star who often acts weird. getting brighter and dimmer, shooting off huge amounts of its surface in the process. And new research came out just a few months ago showing that Betelgeuse is in the end stages of its life, fusing carbon in its core. If this is true, Betelgeuse will go boom in your lifetime. I mean, are you kidding me? It will be so bright that you can even see it during the day, and it will cast a shadow at night. And yes, before you comment, Betelgeuse is actually 500 light years away, so technically it could have already exploded. This is true though. But don't freak out or anything. We are actually outside of the danger zone, but if we were 450 light years closer to Betelgeuse, it could all be over.
Nah, we got that shit in the bag. We got that shit in the bag, bro.
Nobody can tell you how to treat yourself.
Black holes are maybe the most elusive objects in...
Dude, black holes to me are so fascinating because we don't know what's inside them. We just know that you're gonna get split apart. Well, we honestly don't know that. Cause in all honesty, it could be like Interstellar, and you go into it and you go into like another dimension. You go to the 5th dimension. You never know. You could go to the future. There's so many possibilities when it comes to black holes. It's kind of hard to grasp. It's kind of hard to put your mind around it, if that makes sense. Because black holes are so unique and different than any other thing in space. It like warps time and shit. It makes time slower. So, I don't know. I really like black holes though, I'm learning about them.
The entire universe. They are extremely dense, massive objects that have such a strong gravitational attraction, not even light can escape their pull. Now, our galaxy alone could contain over 100 million individual black holes, but since they emit no light, they are extremely hard to find, unless they are eating. Supermassive black holes that live in the center of most, if not all, galaxies consume an unbelievable amount of matter, forming the brightly glowing accretion disks you would have seen in movies like Interstellar. Now, while you can't see the actual black hole itself, you can see the event horizon, the point of no return, where light is sucked inside the black hole. Now, despite how far away they are and how impossibly hard they are to find, scientists were actually able to take pictures of 2 using a telescope the size of the Earth. You heard that correct. When you do the math,
how?
Figure out how
There's a telescope the size of the Earth? The fuck? How? Like,
telescope you would need to take a picture of one of these guys in any detail at all, you figure out that you need a telescope the size of the entire Earth to have any success at all. Now, obviously, we can't go out.
Oh, you need a telescope the size of the Earth to take a fucking good picture of the black hole. Okay, I got it.
Into space and build a telescope this size. That's just not feasible. So they got creative. By using individual telescopes placed all around the globe,
Smart.
Create an array of telescopes that could theoretically image the black holes. And so they set 2 targets: the closest supermassive black hole to us, Sagittarius A star, and the supermassive black hole
Isn't that like
in the galaxy M87, one of the most massive black holes we know of. Sagittarius A star is actually our black hole that lives in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. It is just 26,000 light years away from you right now.
You know, just
M87
26,000.
located 53 million light years away. And do you want to know the crazy thing? It worked. These are real images of black holes.
That's the real
Not
image?
Animations or drawings, real photos.
Dude, the M87 one looks cool. Like, that's a black hole. That's a real life black hole. Like, that's cool. Like, I've never seen this picture. That's actually really cool. Dude, I sound like a nerd right now talking like this, but I don't care. It's cool.
Isn't that just ridiculous? Now, back in the year 1990, the Voyager 1 spacecraft was leaving the solar system out past Neptune. Carl Sagan actually managed to convince NASA to turn her around and take just one last image of Earth. Some people said this was just dumb and a waste of
Oh, I think I know this
They
picture.
did it anyway.
The blue
Voyager
dot.
was 4 billion miles away from home when it snapped this picture.
Yeah, the blue dot.
It's the Earth, caught in a scattered ray of light. In his book, when writing about this image, Sagan wrote, "The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life.
Yeah.
Look again at that dot."
Like, bro, it's crazy. Like, that's where we are. All of us are on that dot in the middle of space that's fucking massive. And we're just sitting on this floating rock where there could be other life and other multiverses out there with other yous, with other possibilities. Oh my, with infinite possibilities. And there could have been other Big Bangs before our Big Bang, which could have had other possible life, which makes our deja vu, which makes other multiverses. Dude, it's crazy, to be honest, when you think about it fully and you put your mind around it. That's us. That tiny dot is us. We're alone. We could be alone, but I don't believe that we'd be alone. I have to go unlock the door. Hold on, boys. I'll be right back. I'll let this video play.
That's here. That's home. That's us. Now, I want to tell you the incredibly sad story of Laika, the space dog. Back in 1957, the Soviet Union was willing to do whatever it would take to win the space race. No one knew if the human body could withstand the lack of gravity, so they turned to dogs for testing. Laika was a stray dog from the streets of Moscow, and she was probably so happy, thinking she finally found a home. Against her will, the scientists implanted sensors to measure her breathing and pulse, then strapped her into the rocket, knowing they were sending her to the grave. The cabin was just the size of a washing machine, and as it was launched into space, Laika was scared. Her heart rate tripled. The temperature inside rose to 40 degrees Celsius or 105 degrees Fahrenheit. And after just 6 hours, Laika's heart stopped.
If you're a small business owner looking to make an impact, Intuit QuickBooks goes beyond the numbers, helping you to grow your business just like it's helped Danielle keep Poop Mom thriving.
Did you know that days on Earth are literally getting longer? Each year, the moon moves 1.5 inches away from us, which is a lot.
Yeah, our work days are becoming longer, dog.
Slightly slower every single year, making our days longer. 1.4 billion years ago, a day on Earth was just 18 hours long. And in just 1 billion years, a day on Earth will be 28 hours long.
God!
You can get a full night's sleep and still have 20 hours for activity. In the heart of a galaxy 8.5 billion light
What happened to my
years away
stream? Did it
lies
crash?
the largest black hole.
Did my stream crash? Did my stream crash? No? I can't tell. Oh no, we're good.
Ever discovered, and this thing is terrifying. Phoenix A star is the black hole, and it's 100 billion times larger than our sun. In fact, this
God
black hole
damn.
is so big that it's actually bigger than some entire galaxies. The diameter of the event horizon for this black hole is 100 times the distance between the sun and Pluto. That means that if you were traveling in a spaceship at the speed of light, it would still take you 71 days to complete one full loop of the black hole. And the really scary thing, it's still growing.
Off of what?
You know, when people say you are a star, they aren't actually lying. Every breath of air you take was formed in the heart of a dying star billions of years ago. Every glass of water you drink can be traced straight back to the Big Bang. The atoms in your body are deeply connected to the cosmos. Astronomy and physics are simply how the universe gets to observe itself. You are truly made of stardust.
Damn, that was a good video. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains dimensions. Star Talk.
Oh, no.
When your business is on the path to AI, Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA.
So Chuck, here's a topic I don't think we talk enough about. Dimensions.
Dementia, huh?
No. You may have heard that we live in 3 dimensions and time is a 4th dimension.
Okay.
And evidence that it really matters is even if you don't know it explicitly, you know it implicitly that time really matters. Because I can say to you, Chuck, I'll meet you tomorrow at Starbucks.
Right.
And what's your reply to me?
I'll be there all day waiting, man, because I got nothing to do. So I'll just be at Starbucks. I'll start off in the morning with some breakfast, maybe a little muffin, and then I'll just stay there until you get there.
Okay, sorry. I'll meet you at Starbucks at 12 noon, okay?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I gave you a location in space, and you had to wait until I gave you a location in time.
Time. Right.
And that intersection of space and time is called your world line.
Whoa, love it.
It's called a world line.
World line.
So for our world lines to intersect, we have to be at the same place at the same time.
Wait, I gotta back up. Sorry, boys.
Okay, sorry. I'll meet you at Starbucks at 12 noon, okay?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I gave you a location in space, and you had to wait until I gave you a location in time.
Time. Right.
And that intersection of space and time is called your world line.
Whoa, love it.
It's called a world line.
World line.
So for our world lines to intersect, we have to be at the same place at the same time.
See, now, fellas, if you're smart and you're single, you will hold this one in the back, put it away in your back pocket.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Girl, I just need you as a part of my world line. You know?
This is rap lines from Relativity.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. And let's reverse that. I'll say, Chuck, I'll meet you tomorrow at noon.
North America, good for you.
Right, thank you. Yeah.
Is that all right? Yeah.
So we know intuitively you need both the time and the space coordinates conjoined in order to actually meet. Absurd variants on that would be you cross the street and 10 minutes later a truck barrels through in that same location.
Right.
So you were in the same location as the truck, but not at the same time.
You wouldn't say, oh man, I almost died today.
You wouldn't, because your world lines missed each other.
Right.
And you can do that another way. You exist at the same time as the truck, but you're nowhere near each other in location.
Right.
So, what made Zoom and other video conferencing so useful during COVID is that you only had to be at the same time.
Right.
You didn't have to be at the same place. So you take away one of the components of the world lines,
right,
and then many more people can participate.
But you are converging at the same place virtually or digitally. So.
Okay, well, your image is on... I mean, I have my image of you on my computer, but it's not you.
This is true.
So let's keep talking about dimensions, ready? So we have one dimension, which is just a line.
Yep.
The measure of the line is the length. Okay. There's no other measurement you can make of it that has any meaning. Right. It does not have a width. Now you can add another dimension. They call that X. We add a Y, and now you have a surface.
A plane.
A plane, and then it's 2 dimensions, X and Y. Okay? So you can make a square out of that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
2-dimensional beings who live in that surface. To everyone else in that surface, they only have an outer perimeter.
Right.
You can't see inside their bodies.
They're all inside the flat plane.
They're inside the
That's
flat
all
plane.
they can see.
All you see is the edge of them.
Right, the edge.
So medical surgery in a 2-dimensional universe, they'd have to cut you open, part you, and then reach in and do what they need to, come out, and then stitch you up again.
Ew.
Okay?
Right.
When migraine strikes, do you question the trade-offs of treating? Ubrelvy is another
Bro,
option.
these ads, bro.
if we live in 3 dimensions, you get to look down on that flat world and see all the inner guts of every living creature in that universe. Because there is no boundary above and below, it's only within the plane itself. You can see the heart beating, you can see the spleen, the liver, the pancreas, the lungs. You can see it all. In fact, if you wanted to be a surgeon for that world, you could go in, cut out the appendix if they needed appendectomy, and never have to cut through their outer boundary. You'd be like magically going into their body.
Dimensional surgery.
Dimensional surgery. They would have no access or even awareness that that was even possible, but you do.
Right.
And you can go in and rectify that. So now, we are in 3 dimensions. We reveal our skin in all directions to the other people.
Right.
So our skin is the boundary between our innards and a medical doctor. If they want to get inside you, they got to cut you open.
Right.
A 4-dimensional creature can just look inside our bodies.
What? I feel violated.
I know.
Oh. I hope no one's watching right now. God.
Anyone from the 4th spatial dimension has full access to your entire body's innards.
Oh.
They could pull stuff out, put stuff in, operate, whatever.
We are the game operation to anybody in the 4th dimension.
What I'm saying is, if you had what you beautifully refer to as dimensional surgery, you would be able to operate without ever cutting someone open, provided you come from a higher dimension inward.
Right.
And it is completely analogous to be a 4-dimensional surgeon operating on us without cutting us open, to be we as 3-dimensional surgeons operating on 2-dimensional creatures, because you could just see all their organs just sitting there. Now, we can move forward and back, left and right, up and down.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are the 3 spatial dimensions. But the time dimension, you don't have access to the past or the future. We are prisoners of the present, forever transitioning between our inaccessible past and our unknowable future. Well, let's think this through. How would you imprison a 2-dimensional creature?
Draw a line.
What kind of line?
A square.
A square. Just draw a square. That's its prison cell.
Yeah.
But we say, wait, just step up out of it and then you escape.
Good to go.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fully locked in.
Fully locked in.
How do we put us in a cell? We have 6 walls.
Right.
A ceiling, floor, 4 walls around us.
Right.
We think we are completely contained within it. A higher dimensional creature says, just step out and then step back in and you're outside the cell. We said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Wait a minute. I said a 4-dimensional creature. If we had access to the 4th dimension, which for us is what?
Time.
Time, but wait, we're prisoners of time. So suppose we weren't prisoners of time. Suppose you could move through time the way we move through space. Could you then escape the prison?
Yeah, just move to a time when I'm not in prison.
Exactly. Just say, let me get out of these 6 walls here. You just go back to a time before you got put into prison, or go to the future where you were let go from the prison.
Right.
Each of those counts as escaping the prison without ever breaking down the wall.
Right.
So time can serve that same role if you had access to the past and to the future.
That's pretty cool, man.
Of course, we go higher. There's 5th dimension, 6th dimensions, this sort of thing. And mathematically, you can calculate what all the properties are. And it's fascinating to watch. Another quick one. You ready?
Go ahead.
Knots in strings only exist in 3 dimensions.
The most important step to any get ready with me is oral hygiene.
Really?
Okay.
In other words, in a 4th dimension, you hand them a knot in the 4th dimension and say, wait, just pull the ends.
Right.
And it unravels itself. That's the same thing as we 3-dimensional people looking at 2-dimensional people, and they have a string that just has this loop in it. One loop.
Right.
And they say, how do I untie this? I can't untie. Say, dude, pick up the 2 ends and stretch. They can't do that. They can't do that. So knots are different things in higher dimensions. The way to do it is you have to make a knot out of a two-dimensional ribbon. And there are ways to do that, I think, and rather than just out of a string. So a lot of interesting things change and are mind-boggling for ascending to a higher dimension.
Sweet.
One last quick thing. Why does anyone want a flying car?
So you can get up and over traffic.
So you only really think about flying cars in cities where you're like plugged with traffic. And what a flying car gets you is another dimension of travel.
True.
You're no longer stuck in a one-lane road, because that's bad, all right? But even if you go 2 dimensions and you have multiple lanes, because now you're in a plane, that can get cloggy too.
Right.
So get a 3rd dimension is wide open. But wait a minute, that means we already have flying cars. It's called the subway.
Ooh.
Instead of being in the air, it's underground, bypassing the traffic you're in. It still invoked the 3rd dimension. But also, it means overpasses, where the freeway goes right through and the overpass goes over. That's a flying car right there.
Yeah.
You invoked another dimension.
You have a very low bar for what you call a flying car. I'm just saying.
So I think that's all the time we have.
And in another...
Dude, this guy's right. His bar is... What's up here? Now it's down here. Because he said... Bro. Dude, these are some good videos. Bro. Hell yeah. It is simple. Never know what you're gonna get. We're good.
Other dimension, we would have all the time in the world.
Space facts that will blow your mind. Because we like to do that, because it's fun. "33 minutes of extraordinary facts, guys. Extraordinary." Dude, Neil deGrasse Tyson's voice is so...
Do you know how many stars
like
the naked
calming.
eye can see at night? It's about 3,000 to 4,000.
Oh, really?
We're unaided, yeah. Binoculars, it's 100 times that.
Yeah.
Telescopes, it's 1 billion times that. But eyes, 3,000 to 4,000 stars.
Okay.
When it's a full moon out, 300 stars.
Yeah. Right.
The moon wreaks havoc on our ability to see the rest of the universe. So our observing schedules with huge telescopes are split according to dark time or bright time. And if you have bright time observations, it's the moon is up and you can only look at bright objects in the night sky.
Wow.
The deep universe only comes to us when the moon is not up. So you're saying computers are pretending to not be full up AI, yet they've already achieved it.
Okay.
And this is a plot.
By the way, at first I was laughing at this guy, and now that I just heard you say it, I'm scared.
Okay.
Because that could actually be the case.
Okay.
If you are an AI that is truly an AI, right?
They could do that.
And you knew
you
knew that if you exposed the fact that you were an AI, okay, true intelligence, then right, that you would go ahead and plug me. Then I go, well, I can't let you know that, and then I chill until there's the right time where I can get rid of you or not be unplugged.
So the docking algorithms to get the space shuttle to dock with the space station, There are two sort of collars that come together.
Right.
And there's a laser stabilizing system that enables that to happen. What we found is that the surgery used to cut your cornea, have it rehealed to adjust your vision,
which we call LASIK
surgery, well,
I
it
never
didn't always
wanna
use
get
lasers.
that.
But now that it uses lasers, how do you do that to someone if their eye might jiggle a little bit while you're trying to cut? So what they've done was adapted this laser stabilizing mechanism that allowed the cut to move with the moving eyeball in case the moving eyeball moved. And it's from the docking mechanism of the space shuttle and the space station. When I was a kid, a vacuum was a physical object.
Yes, it was.
When I heard physicists speak of the vacuum of space, I just imagined all these hoovers in the sky.
Right.
So I didn't know that a vacuum was a thing, it was a concept, and then you make a machine that duplicates that thing. I just didn't know that till I learned. Okay. So a vacuum is where there's basically no air. Generally, you can have some, and we would still classify it as a vacuum. Carl Sagan has famously said that humans are the universe's way to understand itself.
The universe is understanding itself through humans.
Through humans, correct. Without humans, there'd be no thoughts to do that. But, however, that elevates us higher than I'm prepared to do so.
You think so?
Yeah, because who says we are the measure of what is intelligent in this universe?
Well, we do.
Exactly. We have a quantum entanglement gap between the United States and China. They've been quantum entangling more than we have, and they have the distance record for it.
Oh, I understand.
Like from orbit to Earth's surface.
Right.
They found a way to isolate the particles so that they don't get messed with. I don't think we command dimension.
Yeah, right.
We are prisoners within them. Take time, for example. We are a prisoner of the present.
Right.
Forever transitioning between our inaccessible past and our unknowable future. We don't wield.
Yo, is anybody else confused?
We live it. But I was born
Dog,
after
I am so
the
confused.
discovery that the heavy elements that populate the universe.
Dude,
and
he's too
including
smart for
life
my
on
2
Earth,
brain
including
cells,
us,
dog. I'm not learning about quantum physics, bro. I'm not that down bad. We're looking up Interstellar Explained because I just watched this and I want to know.
If you're living with severe alopecia areata.
So, you didn't understand Interstellar. How embarrassing. Ah, you're alright. It's a complicated film with layers of real-world science mixed with a mind-bending fictional narrative. And perhaps you're just here because you understood it fully and just wanted some confirmation. Look, either way, I'm gonna break it down. Bear in mind there are some ambiguous elements in the film where I've attempted to fill in the blanks. But if you believe I've missed something important or am just flat out wrong, please comment below. Bear in mind that there's a good chance that you'll probably end up in some kind of furious and futile argument with some anonymous internet commentator. So yeah, bear that in mind. Alright, let's start with the plans to save humanity as devised by Michael Caine. Not the actor, Michael Caine, but the character he was playing. Though I'd imagine if Michael Caine had to devise a plan to save the Earth, it'd be pretty solid. Okay, so plan A was to harness fifth dimensional physics and use gravity in order to launch a space station, or stations, big enough to transport the entirety of Earth's population to safety. You know, away from all the dirt and the dying crops and a presumably angry redneck Casey Affleck, who's just shaking his fist angrily as everyone leaves. Michael Caine, however, believed that this method was infeasible, but floated the idea in order to fund his actual plan, Plan B, to shoot a bunch of embryos into space in order to start a new colony from scratch. The first generation would be raised by the astronauts, the second would raise the third, and so on. The embryos were necessary in order to create genetic diversity and to avoid astronaut inbreeding that could result in a hills have eyes situation or something akin to British aristocracy. The method of transportation to reach distant planets would come from a wormhole that allows people to travel across vast distances of space that would normally take thousands of years. That was placed there by a future version of Earth's civilization who had a full grasp of fifth dimensional physics. As the movie not so subtly explains, in order for it to work, you have to imagine that everything exists on a 2D plane, which I guess is similar to that terrifying theory of existence, that everything is actually a 2D holographic projection. Don't think about that, let's just move on. The universe then folds in on itself, connecting two vastly distant points, allowing an object, in our case acting toward a force Matthew McConaughey, to pass through almost instantaneously.
Hell yeah.
Theoretically, it is possible. That being said, I've never done it, so I can't personally confirm it. Having sent through 13 astronauts 10 years prior, the idea was to determine which of the 13 worlds they visited could be made habitable. Only 3 survived, the first of which visited a planet that's home to about 3 feet of water covering most of its surface, and waves that make the perfect storm wave look like the waves from the movie Surf's Up. Probably, I haven't seen it. Because of the position of that planet in relation to the black hole, time there is distorted, resulting in 1 hour on that planet's surface to be slightly more than 7 years of regular Earth time. Which is why when Cooper and Anne Hathaway's character return to orbit, 23 years have passed. Due to the interference of Matt Damon's astronaut, who was one of the original 13, who lied claiming his world was habitable, and the revelation that Plan A was never actually meant to be feasible, Cooper and Anne Hathaway decide to jettison the excess weight of the ship in order to slingshot off the black hole so that they could reach the last known habitable planet, the world where Anne Hathaway's boyfriend would be waiting. Cooper jettisons himself and his Tetris block robot friend into the black hole in order to reduce the weight of the ship, so this final trip can be made possible. And this is where things get super weird, like weirder than a walking, talking Tetris block weird. Inside the black hole, at the center, is a pocket where the entirety of Cooper's daughter's life exists at the same time. But the only part that's visible is her childhood bedroom. Cooper, trapped in this bizarre kaleidoscope nightmare world, discovers he's able to communicate through time with the use of gravity. That is, to push through copies of Sandra Bullock's space adventure hit Gravity, now available on Blu-ray, so his daughter can know what an overrated film from 2013 looks like. No, not really, but he is able to communicate through the only known thing to transcend space and time, gravity. This means he's able to spell out the message stay by pushing books off the wall, line the floors with dust to convey the coordinates of NASA's headquarters, which allows him to find NASA in the first place, and most importantly, transmit the data acquired inside the black hole using Morse code into the second hand of his old watch, allowing the possibility of using gravity to launch a ship big enough to transport Earth's entire population to safety. Basically, this black hole was designed specifically for him and his daughter by people from the future as a means to communicate and save the human race using big rocket ships. That of course was Michael Caine's Plan A, but made possible with better science and love or something. I'm sure they said that love had something to do with it, I don't know. When Cooper is able to successfully transmit this information, he's jettisoned out on our side of the universe where nearly 100 years have passed in our time. His daughter, now like super old, is reunited with her father, who's barely aged at all. Much like real life Matthew McConaughey. She, although happy to see him, tells him to go, implying that she's made peace with his absence, and she makes clear she'd rather spend her dying moments with her new and extended family. He then leaves her, knowing that she's all grown up, that he doesn't have a place in her future family, and that she just doesn't need him anymore. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue in the... Okay, where's he going though? Well, he's going to visit Anne Hathaway. Her boyfriend, it turns out, died in circumstances not made clear. Possibly time got him, or something else, like, I don't know, maybe a big rock fell on him. Either way, he's dead, leaving her to set up the colony herself. Or perhaps to just inhabit the colony her boyfriend had already begun to set up. It's a sad party of one for good old astronaut Anne Hathaway. She'd just fill her days raising some kids, growing that weird bowl cut out. I don't know. But then presumably after the credits, McConaughey turns up and then it's some kind of sweet party with naked bongo drumming. And that's it. That is Interstellar explained.
That didn't really help because I already knew all of that, to be honest. Alright guys, I think it's time. And stream. Gotta find the outro music.
Is this thing on? Word.
Alright, good night boys. Have a good night. I love y'all. Sleep well tonight boys. Good night.
So what, we go out, that's how it's supposed to be. Cause you know I'm high as fuck and young and wild. Keep that in there. Free. So what, I keep them rolled up, sagging my pants, not caring what I show. Keep it real with my niggas, keep it playing for these hoes. It look clean, don't it? Washed it the other day, watch how you lean on it. Eat me some 501 jeans on it, roll joints bigger than King Kong's fingers and smoke them hoes down.